Right, we are 20 videos or so deep. I think it's time we talk about Warcloud, one of my favourite all-time rappers, a member of the extended Wu-Tang family, the Killer Bees, and whatnot. Yeah, what a mystical character we have here. So I was introduced to this dude in in college. It was what year? Probably 2004, 5 maybe. And yeah, loved him straight away. And he's got an interesting evolution of styles. So looking into his story, and that wiki unfortunately only has a little bit. He doesn't have his own page, though he does have album pages on wiki. And yeah, it just talks about him being a member of the group Black Knights. But in terms of story, I have found a bit of a biography, which we'll come back to. But for now, I'm just going to listen to a few songs just to kind of show you the evolution that I recognised before we get to the bio, because the bio does talk about it a bit. So, right. He was on a track in '98 on RZA's album, RZA's first album, Digital Bullets. Was it Digital Bullet? Or was it In Stereo? Yeah, it was Bobby Digital. And I don't think I even noticed him. And then when I was introduced to Warcloud's albums, I was like, oh wow, this guy's amazing. And then my brother was like, oh yeah, don't you remember? He was on RZA's album. So yeah, we're going to listen to the RZA track. And what I would say is, like, this is it, his style, his content fits in perfectly with kind of Wu-Tang stuff. Really does. And on this track, I'd say he's spitting what are pretty just solid bars, multi-syllable rhymes, and I think he's the standout verse on this track. So it's RZA's track. He calls the track Holocaust, in brackets Silkworm, featuring Holocaust, who is Warcloud. That was his name prior to, I don't know, like 2002. Dr. Doom, Ghostface, and Miss Roxy. So, yeah, Warcloud is first. I think there's a video yeah. Okay. Here we are. That quality isn't the best. Is that the best we've got? Yeah. Okay. Check these bars. And the structure of his bars, how it's pretty hip-hop, straightforward rhymes. You've fallen down an endless tunnel of doom reality. Graphically, my killer bee family sting to galaxy. 98 first bars, you've fallen down an endless tunnel of doom reality. Not many other people were spitting. I know, going off one line. Not many other people were spitting that profound imagery. Maybe Cannabis, RZA, Jizza. Anyway. That always got me. Let's have a blast off. You've fallen down an endless tunnel of doom reality. Graphically, my killer bee family sting to galaxy. Insanity, titanium stomach devouring Guinness. My flesh is solid stone despite my outer appearance. Yeah, devouring Guinness. My flesh is solid stone despite my outer appearance. Always like that. Put that imagery of some superhero characteristics in my head. My flesh is solid stone despite my outer appearance. Still disease, kill viruses, planets and racial creatures. Made him see sprout tumors so bad, lost facial features. Wasted people's left out in the rain. Just dope rhymes. 80 shots to the mouth and the brain, shouting my name. Holocaust, black man whose veins littered with thorns. Back smack you so hard, all your seeds will be born deformed. Swarm, dorm, sting birds, fling verbs like mean curves. Strike three, might flee, I infect them with green. All of that rhyme in there is really good. What's that popping up there for? Back you so hard, all your seeds will be born deformed. Swarm, dorm, sting birds, fling verbs like mean curves. Strike three, might flee, I infect them with green germs. Rhyming couplets in there in the middle of multi-syllables. My felony melody has to be a bastard's masterpiece. Stop grafting me. Chump ass
then all of this now.
Horrifyingly empty, spitting darts on the tip of a glacier used for my hideout. Rock crusher, German suplex, watch spine slide out the side route. Forearm bash with 20 jabs on the app, or your lab gets stabbed and bloodied bad. While I'm sipping herbal teas, verbal bees plant fertile seeds. Bitches leave with broke back, swollen palms, and purple knees.
While I'm sipping herbal teas, verbal bees plant fertile seeds. Bitches leave with broke back, swollen palms, and purple knees. Circle thieves.
Or your lab gets stabbed and bloodied bad. While I'm sipping herbal teas, verbal bees plant fertile seeds. Bitches leave with broke back, swollen palms, and purple knees. Circle thieves like roaches in deserts.
It's good rhyming. Come on, guys.
Drastic indescribable pain. I injure bars while Bobby throwing razor CDs like ninja stars.
So yeah, remember that style of rhyming from Warcloud. Here we got Bobby Didge.
Drop down a manhole, yo, I rap ammo, blows out the candle, check, yo, drop down a manhole, I rap ammo, blows out the candle, have Wu-Tang tagged up on your tombstone by Gando, release the info, 4-4, increase your heart tempo.
It's like that introduction there, there's just a lot of like Wu-Tang stuff that I just love, that's just so raw. It's mainstream, but it's raw, and they just do it how they want. Was that him like about to kick in, and then he realised, oh, nope, that's not the right bit, or did he say, I'm just going to repeat this?
Yo, I rap ammo, blows out the candle, check, yo, drop down a manhole, I rap ammo, blows out the candle, have Wu-Tang tagged up on your tombstone by Gando, release the info, 4-4, increase your heart tempo, scared your ass to jump through a closed window, to 100 beats per second, my mic secret weapon, infuriate your style, to that of Led Zeppelin, Encyclopedia Britannica, Hanna-Barbera, world of super adventure, didn't give a proper word.
RZA is such an innovator in music. It's understated. He's just, but in rap itself, I just love how big the Wu are. They're absolutely the antithesis of the Frank Sinatra song "Did It My Way," or at least, yeah, I mean they are, just because their style, just all of them permeated the culture and cultures, and so much in rap is, whether it's like directly influenced by the Wu or not, I think has come to be because of the Wu. I'd say just large swaths of what was like the noughties underground. The Wu kind of had their own underground, like their own extended family was so big that it was its own underground. Some people were just like Wu-Tang family fans, but I just think of like all the Jedi Mind Tricks type underground army, the Pharaohs, all has a kind of Wu feel to it. And yeah, anyway, big up everything the RZA has ever done.
Of the scripture of my manner, you're just a flicker to my inferno. We burn for eternal. MCs that like popcorn. We poppin' every journal. Drop this in your journal. We hot like a thermal. Nuclear explosion under my control of your country, like the Federal Enforcement Management Agency. A technique, be vocabulary freak. We cipher say my divine is like Dante's Peak. At most, you'll be trapped off in Patmos. Get smacked in the back of your neck with the black toast. King Cobra back, blue back, and barefoot. On the roof, dusted out, waiting for chariots. Popping like Orville Red and Baca or Betty Crocker. The pop secret is the 45 Glock clocker. Control men like rats that's controlled by Ben or Willard. American Express privileges plus village.
I do love loads of his RZA verses, but he isn't like a top tier rapper for me. But topic wise, he's definitely in the upper echelon for me personally. The kind of stuff I like to hear people rap about, but skill wise, he's maybe not in that echelon for me. Like lyrical skill and hearing him drop bars on a beat, etc. That whole package. But content wise, what he talks about, and he's top tier for that, and also obviously like entrepreneurship, what he's brought to the culture, like all of that, he's beyond top tier. He's the ultimate tier. He's in that tier for that. He's in the cool Herc sphere for what he's brought to the culture. Yeah, and beyond that. Anyway.
Got more more balls than villas. Star Spangled Banner, soldier stand up. Cobra commander, stop the propaganda. 30 shot banana clip, full loaded. Radar scanners get decoded. Digital warfare, torment your head. Eyes bloated, heads exploded. Poison darts quoted. American Eagle stinging a blue beetle. Barely on the rock, mixed with Hennessy daily. Keep these scaly Israeli niggas from the clan. We ride the Amistad and harness the promised land.
You can't escape from the Doctor of Doom. My lyrics loom on buffoons and take flight like witches' brooms at full moon on all you dum-dums. Wash your filthy rhymes away like soap scum. The warlord, swing flaming swords just like the shogun of the darkness. My scriptures cause arching like flaming arches. My killer beast
Tony Stark and Dr.
like
Doom
a marksman,
together.
so take precautions. We attack like black Martians. Corner the market by using digital strategies. Reefer sparks my acid battery. Y'all niggas flatter me with all that tough talk. I drop bombs like Mookie Blaylock from the outside or the inside, creating tense rise. When my pen glides, all MCs will get their head flied. For
This
talking
is
shit, lyrics always
underrated
strike me while my
verse,
dungeon
underrated
pit.
by
Killer
myself.
bees must reign supreme throughout the continent. We conquered it, motherfuckers. Hey, yeah. Hey,
Time
yeah.
for Tony.
The beat terminal, exquisite young coolie high
It actually
production.
says Tony Stark.
Ghostface.
Ghostface.
Sticks, 2 black belts that break bricks. Diet Coke meetings with the rich. I'm faithfully married to rap. We've been engaged for 12 years. Tyson
Good
been
stuff.
Holyfield ear. We let it sport. Look out your window now, see. Pull up the shade, y'all be amazed. Me, Tony Stark, spaceship. Ran by Doris Seller. Only man that walk through hell. Dick swinging like shit. Went well, call it the mighty Joe Young. Double swirl, slush, Wonder Woman, sapphire, shit with the pearls. It look real nice, yo. Heavy on the gravy, third bag, the secretary in the grave. She type 80 words, so whirlwinds, the whirlpools. Openly see, watch the earth spin. Sunny dance with the serpent. Who shot JJ with Mudbone? The same
Ghostface
nigga ride
is
the train. Same nigga with his
one of
name
the
on his
best.
jacket.
I think
Swift
Ghostface is
untouchable.
a better
Inhaled the bad bag of
rapper
that
than
Jason.
RZA.
Fell out twice in the base.
Oh, I keep muting myself by accident. Yeah, I'd say Ghostface is probably out of the Wu-Tang. I'd put Ghostface probably maybe the best, like voice delivery, rhymes. He's up there with some of the best rhymes. I think maybe Method Man has the best rhymes. Like metaphors, punchlines. Maybe he's the best. Smart raps, Jizza, maybe. Anyway, yeah. Let's finish.
Man, straight up and down, y'all. Bobby Digital. Bobby.
So there is that track. That is Bobby Digital featuring Warcloud, and let's not forget Warcloud.
Guinness. My flesh is solid stone, despite my outer appearance. Still disease, kill viruses, planets, and races.
Straight up
Creatures made them see sprout
dope
tumors so bad, lost
rhymes,
facial features,
but
wasted
pretty
features, left
pretty
out
standard,
my brain.
pretty
Thousands
straightforward.
of pain, 80 shots to the mouth and the brain, shouting my name. Holocaust, black
Dope
man,
all
his
round.
veins littered with
Anyway, so that was 2008. No, that was 98. And then this was the first track I ever heard of his, from 2002, Warcloud Mad Axes. Now, this is his own album, the beat's a banger, and I can see why it drew me in. And I'd say it's pretty straightforward rhyming on the beat, but it's topic-wise, he's getting a little bit more out there. But he's not constrained by the fact that it's going to be on a mainstream album, like he was, I suppose, on that. So here's an absolute banging track. Warcloud Mad Axes from, I think it's his first solo album, Nightmares That Surface From Shallow Sleep, and he dropped Smuggling Booze in the Graveyard pretty much the same year, I think. So. Come on, game. Yes. been a while since I've heard this.
Wu-Tang Clan, West Coast, so carry torch. Throwing mad axes, bad apples, a dead horse. Throwing mad axes, bad apples, a dead horse. Throwing mad axes, heavy sawed-off shoddy. Old liquid foot, powder foot, chopped up the body. Great Warcloud, who cracked you mighty hard. I watched the children chasing chickens off in the yard. Throwing mad axes, heavy sawed-off shoddy. Old liquid foot, powder foot, chopped up the body. Great Warcloud, who cracked you mighty hard. I watched the children chasing chickens off in the yard.
So that's it. The kicks in with his chorus, which is old liquid foot, powder foot, chops up the body. That's, you know, got to be red flags. Interesting.
Warcloud, who cracked you mighty hard. I watched the children chasing chickens off in the yard. I crashed through the door and motorhead through the window with a heavy pistol. Warcloud, the champion. Victory born's freedom.
So for me, certainly back then when I first heard it, not not having multi-syllable rhymes like straight away, not even rhyming straight away. Ooh, that's risky. Now, I was familiar with rappers who didn't always rhyme, Soul being one, and I liked tracks that he made, but you know, I was definitely an arrogant enough hip-hop fan to need multi-syllable rhymes early on.
Cracked you mighty hard. I watched the children chasing chickens off in the yard. I crashed through the door and motorhead through the window with a heavy pistol. Warcloud, the champion. Victory born's freedom. The universe can't defeat him. Crash you with the Seagrams. Oh yeah! Chop your head in half with the heavy old sword from all Asia. Sick man Amasia. Dark Castle Fantasia.
But that would have drew me in.
Victory born's freedom. The universe can't defeat him. Crash you with the Seagrams. Oh yeah! Chop your head in half with the heavy old sword from all Asia. Sick man Amasia. Dark Castle Fantasia. Shot you in the early life. Throw your arms in a garbage bin. Records will retard it spin. Lay my gas on wax. Slit your belly open and stash a hammer in the back. Warcloud, don't play sleepy horse. Clack, clack, slumped on a horse with a creepy torch. And black cats, if one cannot speak wisdom about his or her culture, therefore they cannot deal equality. Barbaric.
I'd say with me, it's always going to be that first thing, just noticing that you can spit multi-syllable bars, and then looking at, you know, and then hoping that the flow and everything is just seamless, where you're not. I mean, if it's fine, it can be within certain parameters. You know, you don't notice mistakes. Those things I like to just be standard. I don't have to think about them. And then next up, what's going to draw me in is content. Maybe the beat as well. Yeah, but it's still probably content that's going to I need those rhymes and stuff as the baseline, multi-syllable rhymes, and then making sure the flow and stuff is at least within normal parameters. It's a broad spectrum. You can flow and drop rhymes on a bar in any way, but there's some ways that it's just boring and monotonous. And then it's about the content. So this guy's content is thought-provoking. It's pretty dark, macabre maybe. I'd say it's artistic, but I probably didn't notice that straight away. But almost every line so far, I'm just like, what? Yeah? What's he saying? Wonder what that means.
Early life, throw your arms in a garbage bin. Records will retard it spin. Lay my gas on wax. Slit your belly open and stash a hammer in the back. Warcloud, don't play sleepy horse. Clack, clack, slumped on a horse with a creepy torch. And black cats, if one cannot speak wisdom about his or her culture, therefore they cannot deal equality. Barbaric policy, slaughter you in the Odyssey.
And he just moves from something, you know, if they cannot speak wisdom about his or her culture, therefore they cannot, something equality. Barbaric oddity, bury you in the Odyssey. Was that what it was? You know, straight into some dope rhyming.
Barbaric policy, slaughter you in the Odyssey. Crack you like a policy, make your organs commodity. Shot him barefoot in the dark. He was a tyrant. Fiasco pop violent. I
switching the rhyme like, whoop. See you later.
My deadly maze of clues.
See you later.
We smoke motherfuckers like Army and Navy news. A hall full of dinosaur heads. Hear the best tune. You were mangled by madmen inside a wet room.
What does that
Punch you
mean?
at the knee with a shotgun. It's hurtful. Use like blind fish that swim in lazy circles.
Like blind fish that swim in lazy circles. Is that what blind fish do? Possibly. Or is that a reference to something? It's got to be. Warcloud's that deep. He's like Aesop Rock deep in his own way.
But I'm so swiftly fired my Smith & Wesson. He tried to escape but stepped on his own intestine.
That happened in something. It's got to have. The Smith and Wesson tried to escape, like Ricky O or something like that. It's got to have. It's the story of Ricky. That's where that happened, surely. Oscar. Come on.
Throw you in the shredder for pleasure and live to tell. Old war ghosts, they cannonball in a well. Throwing mad axes, heavy sawed-off shoddy. Old liquid foot, powder foot, chopped up the body. Great Warcloud who cracked you mighty hard. I watched the children chasing chickens off in the yard. Throwing mad axes, heavy sawed-off shoddy. Old liquid foot, powder foot, chopped up the body. Great Warcloud who cracked you mighty hard. I watched the children chasing chickens off in the yard. Sunburst, shotgun, drop son, and Scotch run. Down a dirty staircase, clatter like when the cops come. Warcloud, you punk crews never start.
That's a dope kicking.
Children chasing chickens off in the yard. Sunburst, shotgun, drop son, and Scotch run. Down a dirty staircase, clatter like when the cops come. Warcloud, you punk crews never started. It's like somebody took human skins and filled them with garbage. You'll find your ass back in the dumpster from heavy gats. Baptism of blood, I'll leave you with flies and gnats. I stalk with a sawed-off shotgun and an axe. All wrapped in bandages, coat was long and black. Sparking in the darkness, bewitched men and hunchback.
Oh,
Shuffle through the portal
cool
with cyber
imagery.
gats for ass.
Stumble through the porch with cybergats for asking. I mean, check all of this for imagery, the picture he's painted, and I'm looking at this in the background as well. This, suppose it's a spooky mansion, some sort of treasure here. Don't know what that is. Definitely some sort of bodies and a scarecrow. Yeah.
School of assassins, stashing your body fragments. Just behind 8 big crates, we drunk laughing. Heavy swords, axes, and hammers are my brigade. I'll cut you men down with the gauge and flip the page. Stumble off the ripple, cause every day is New Year's. Sick like the green coyote, I drink a few beers. Lift that brick, grab that gat. Paintings in a stack. I bump you and slump you on every track. It's that Warcloud rap. We desperate desperados. Machine junkie crunchy with shots to pop the lotto. Swigging dusty bottles, the strongest who sing the longest. Throw you in the hells of hells from Arkansas. Rap creature land, beware
Like, what's Arkansombus? Arkansombus. I need to know. I will learn.
mechanical animals. Warcloud stretching the daisies with revolvers. Drunk like thieves. Take it just like the breeze. Now look at all the clowns there sleeping up in the trees.
Look at all the clowns there sitting up in the trees. Is that a reference to something? How many references to something were there in there, or was it just his imagination? I mean, either of those things would be amazing. And it's hard to react to, it's hard to keep up with. I feel like maybe... Yeah, of course, a heavy old sword from Jerusalem splatter juice on them. You know, it's way past your curfew. I came here to unearth you heavy old sword from Jerusalem splatter juice on them. Yep. Of course.
Heavy old sword from Jerusalem, splatter juice from them. Red Bangladesh murder, stupid men, peep my future pin. Here.
Red Bangladesh from the what was it? Red peep my future pin.
Splatter juice from them. Red Bangladesh murder, stupid men, peep my future.
Red Bangladesh.
Pin. Here from the roof. Murder, stupid men, peep my future pin. Splatter juice from them. Red Bangladesh murder, stupid men, peep my future.
Yes, unbelievable.
Here from the roof, but grin records, poets salute the spin. Cave where Medusa went, troops were bent. I shoot the length and let loose the hen. Quite close to where the fruits were rinsed. Fry your brain, roots and grin. Loot was spent, I scoop some mints, pick a zoot suit, and then strangle, mangle, and slaughter you. Storm drain, marauder.
I have a vague memory of hearing that rhyme scheme there, being like, yo, yeah, this guy's got some special bars.
Heavy old sword from Jerusalem, splatter juice from them. Red Bangladesh murder, stupid men, peep my future pin. Here from the roof, but grin records, poets salute the spin. Cave where Medusa went, troops were bent. I shoot the length and let loose the hen. Quite close to where the fruits were rinsed. Fry your brain, roots and grin. Loot was spent, I scoop some mints, pick a zoot suit, and then strangle, mangle, and slaughter you. Storm drain, marauder who meet markets
right
artists. A large scholastic lesson from Butcher College. Tear your gut open, out gases, liquids, and solids. They'll be astonished how I left the whole place polished. Carry mad knowledge for those who wrestle with concepts. Warcloud, outsiders, wanderers, and conquerors. Warriors, angry men, warmongers, barbarians. Holy men, crusaders, face huggers, and space truckers. Break fuckers' backs, your spines were...
Space truckers. What? Holy men, space truckers.
Warmongers, barbarians, holy men, crusaders, face huggers, and space truckers. Break fuckers' backs, your spines were made of Lego. I laugh like a merchant whose teeth were made of Play-Doh. Champs in your broad out, I'll snatch the bitch bottom jaw out. Hacks all your legs, it's evening at the raw house.
Why a merchant whose teeth were made of Play-Doh? Is that a reference to something? Is it? I need someone to tell me.
Like a merchant whose teeth were made of Play-Doh. Champs in your broad out, I'll snatch the bitch bottom jaw out. Hacks all your legs, it's evening at the raw house. Warcloud, don't play monologue. Pleasure ship slumped on a horse with a tomahawk. And desert men gallop through snowflakes. Testament catch a broke.
Desert men gallop through snowflakes. Why is that? Is that a reference?
And desert men gallop through snowflakes. Testament catch a broke face. Razor blade tropical snowstorm that slopes waist.
All of that is dope rhyming. All of it. Listen.
Catch a broke face. Razor blade
broke face.
Play monologue. Pleasure ship slumped on a horse with a tomahawk. And desert men gallop through snowflakes. Testament catch a broke face. Razor blade tropical snowstorm that slopes waist. Tattered rappers deform. Holy lyrics you torn. Fly like a diamond winged unicorn. Beyond the norm. Throwing mad axes. Heavy sawed off shoddy. Old liquid foot, powder foot, chopped up the body. Great Warcloud who cracked you mighty hard. I watched the children chasing chickens off in the yard. Throwing mad axes. Heavy sawed off shoddy. Old liquid foot, powder foot, chopped up the body. Great Warcloud who cracked you mighty hard. I watched the children chasing chickens off in the yard.
So there we have it. The first ever song I heard of Warcloud, and I think I borrowed that album at the same time and took it away. I remember the guy showing it me. The guy, his name was White Mantis, was his rap name. His nickname was Siggy. We called him. I can't remember his real name, but he showed me this track in like where they had the computer lounge, and yeah, lent me the album, took it home, became an instant fan, and I'm still a fan today. Unfortunately, I don't think I've mentioned, he has passed away, which is sad, so no more music, although I do think there is one album that came out earlier this year, maybe a couple of months ago, that I haven't peeped, so I've still got that to check. But yeah, that's my first experience of Warcloud, aka the Holocaust, aka Frank the Robot Tank, aka Alcatraz. Okay, so yeah, so that was my first experience, so definitely different to this solid bar spitting of this track, the RZA track. And then we move on to another album that I heard pretty much at the same time as his first album, Nightmares. Now, most of it is crazy as hell. It is, yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing, but it's crazy. It's not great quality, a lot of it either, but there is one track where he's just spitting regular hard bars, and it does feature other guys, so I feel like it was somebody else's track, but he's just put it on his album, and that is Howling Wolves. I'm just going to play his verse on that. But the album came out in 2002, Smuggling Booze in the Graveyard, same year as the Nightmares album. So yeah, we're just going to go straight into this. I'd say it's maybe closer to this RZA track, his bars on this RZA track, than it is to like his bars on either this album or the Smuggling Booze album, as we'll see after this. It's not the best quality either, but you get the gist of his dope rhymes.
Get ready for this.
In the back shooting the pistols, you turn to nuclear tissues. My brain is a computer which launched nuclear missiles. It's the 2.5 bloodbaths, the first and last. When I walk into the room full of draft, I'm cursed and mad. Hurt your staff with a burst in the path. I'm kill grade. Wander cornfields at midnight and drill pain. Still slaves in this drunken parade. Blunts in the rain, realizing I got nothing but chains.
Love all of that. Punch in the rain.
Fields at midnight and drill pain. Still slaves in this drunken parade. Blunts in the rain, realizing I got nothing but chains. Up in your frame over waterfalls. You spin on your side like Neptune. Gun you down in restrooms. MCs catch flesh wounds.
Over waterfalls, you spin on your side like Neptune. Gun you down in restrooms. MCs catch flesh wounds.
Drunken parade, blunts in the rain, realizing I got nothing but change. Dumping your frame over waterfalls, you spin on your side like Neptune. Gun you down in restrooms, MCs catch flesh wounds on the earlobe. Slip my beer's cold, sometimes appear old. Carrying 7 scrolls, peg-legged and musketeer rolls. Your fear shows, dirty black pirate.
All of that.
On the earlobe, slip my beer's cold.
That's it from the earlobe.
MCs catch flesh wounds on the earlobe. Slip my beer's cold, sometimes appear old.
From the earlobe, sit my beer cold, sometimes appear old.
Carrying 7 scrolls, peg-legged and musketeer rolls.
I can't even speak. Can't speak.
Dirty black pirate, the rap tyrant. Scientist, psychiatrist, drinking attack, client, track violence. When I step to the mic, weapon of light, holocaust. You regretting your life, step in the fight with the humble young merchant, 80 minds in one person. They hop in and out time to time. That's why I'm cursing. Who the dumb punks catch lumps and slump buck, dumb struck, bench press, buck trust with one thrust. Run just because you witness the scene. The humble young merchant, 80 minds in one person. They hop in and out time to time. That's why I'm cursing. Who the dumb punks catch lumps and slump buck, dumb.
I can't repeat that. I can't actually quite make it all out, but it's dope. Bench press dump trucks with one thrust. I got that.
Because you witness the scenes, the kerosene that ignites on sight, war machine. It's seraphine, though the feast for the mind and the body, we still hungry. Watch my tongue bleed, blood seeds. I'm real ugly and twisted, artistic, bizarre. I've traveled far, walk LA with an eye patch, braids, and battle scars.
So yeah, that's a pretty straight up rhyme. Now if you... What is mad is these two albums came out in the same year, and I do feel like Nightmares that surfaced from the Shallow Sleep is a little bit of a wacky album. It is, content-wise specifically, but his bars are more hip-hop like. They're a little bit closer to that. Not as close as this specific verse that I've just shown now, which is a one-off on this album, where everything else is just that little bit more wacky. So I feel like they came out in the same year. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he made an active change in style and just did some rough tracks. Because he's also got a couple of, like, collaboration albums with, I think, like, is it Professor? I've got the discography up there. The Professional and these dudes, Pro the Leader. These, you know, a few different things going on. Mixtape wise, where he is, it does sound rougher, more like these tracks. So anyway, I don't know what was going on in 2002. So the next track on the album is the one I'm going to play. It's one of my favourite tracks, but it is wild. Almost every line it's in some way thought provoking. Some is pretty whoa, but yeah, let's go. Warcloud, Vampire Kung Fu. Who doesn't need this in their life? I'm sure this will be straightforward, normal. Okay, let's go.
Warcloud, alias Alcatraz.
Oh, it's
Fuck your
alias.
bitch in the graveyard late night like Pretty Wolf.
Ooh.
Then catch him at his pad watching Elvira with Laverne and Shirley. Crack your hip.
They catch him at his pad watching Elvira with Laverne and Shirley. Catch who? Warcloud.
Wolf. Then catch him at his pad watching Elvira with Laverne and Shirley.
Okay.
Crack your hip with a Wu-Tang bat.
Okay, the Woo Bat.
My ancestors spoke the Iroquoian language. That is
Iroquoian.
Cherokee, some spoke in Moscow.
Oh, his ancestors spoke the Iroquoian language. That is Cherokee. Ah.
Gene, that is Choctaw, you weak niggas, Chichaco. Stupid tenderfoot, I got your brain with a hook.
Tenderfoot. Hook. Okay, here we go.
Stupid tenderfoot, I got your brain with a hook. Came to kill the champ, they ain't even nobody with you. Heavy blade kiss you, the super patriot century. Son, you move noisily, box office, the gunplay. Old legend of dead horse, dirty woo, vampire, came to kill the...
Just try and keep up with any of this. He's going to repeat that again. And this is just like a chorus. Came to kill the champ that ain't even nobody with you. Heavy blade hits you, the super patriot century. Son, you move noisily, box office to gunplay. Old legend of dead horse, dirty woo, vampire kung fu. Where'd you start?
Champ, they ain't even nobody with you. Heavy blade kiss you, the super patriot century. Son, you move noisily, box office, the gunplay. Old legend of dead horse, dirty woo, vampire. I live in a hollowed out asteroid. It's Warcloud, better living through circuitry. Paleolithic surgery, half man, half planet Mercury. I heard him seize one.
I live in a hollowed out asteroid. It's Warcloud. I mean, straight away I'm like, yes, this guy lives in a hollowed out asteroid. It's Warcloud.
Old legend of dead horse, dirty woo, vampire. I live in a hollowed out asteroid. It's Warcloud, better living through circuitry. Paleolithic surgery, half man, half planet Mercury. I heard him cease. One day it rained and the people began to melt. Assassination, I sent an agent in a nation of nations to slay a third of Earth's population for vindication. A dirty helicopter, my blades are my swords. When I descend upon you, the sound of a zillion chariots.
Dirty helicopter, my blades are my swords. When I descend upon you, the sound of a zillion chariots. Did I hear correctly?
One day it rained and the people began to melt. Assassination, I sent an agent in a nation of nations to slay a third of Earth's population for vindication. A dirty helicopter, my blades are my swords. When I descend upon you, the sound of a zillion chariots. Nightmare room, old truth, cause this is scariest. And every island fled away in the mountains were not found. Shadowless zombie swordsman. Chills swoop up on you and launch your head in the hills.
Ah, normal rapid, yes. Shadowless zombies, swordsman, chills, swoop up on you and launch your head in the hills. Yeah, that's your average stuff.
Nightmare room, old truth, cause this is scariest. And every island fled away in the mountains were not found. Shadowless zombie swordsman. Chills swoop up on you and launch your head in the hills. Swarm mechanic tragic, mastermind Jurassic. Laughing out lumber, leave you bloody construction yard.
Laughing out lumber, leave you bloody construction yard. What an interesting image that is. Just, yeah.
Spirit shields with lyric fields of one arm ghost samurai. Swarm mechanic tragic, mastermind Jurassic. Laughing out lumber, leave you bloody construction yard. Shatter spirit shields with lyric fields of one arm ghost.
Some rhyming couplets in there. He's that guy who's mastered the art and then he's breaking the mold.
Samurai from the past that murdered ungodly. Spirit shields with lyric fields of one armed ghost samurai from the past that murdered ungodly. The thunderstruck oddly.
Ghost samurai from the past who murdered ungodly. The thunderstruck oddly. I blasted dusty shotty.
Your carcass the prettiest. Angry woodcutters, soda fist, motion switch, blizzard kicks, braid, sound waves, and astound slaves. Dirty Mullen meat market massacre. Mirage, crash like the hammer of the gods and leave you lodged.
Dirty Mully meat massacre mirage, crash you like the hammer of the gods and leave you lodged. Under heavy doors explore these warlords. Yeah, you don't want to get lodged under a door that's fallen off its hinges because of, a god.
Under heavy doors explore these warlords. Mystic paradise, my axe closet with shovels in it.
That just always tipped me over the edge when I was younger. No rhyme there. Mystic paradise, my axe closet with shovels in it. You just know you're in the presence of genius when someone is talking, firstly, about their axe closet, because everybody needs an axe closet, but the fact that they've got an axe closet with shovels in it, that is something that rap has always needed to hear about, and thankfully Warcloud is here.
9 million ninjas fall on you with lightsabers. These warlords, mystic paradise, my axe closet with shovels in it. 9 million ninjas fall on you with lightsabers. Cannibalistic neighbors, ghost pirates and heartless raiders. Old gator man who is seldom seen. He lives in a cave made of moths with dusty wings.
Old gator man who is seldom seen. He lives in a cave with a moth with dusty wings, was it?
Old gator man who is seldom seen. He lives in a cave made of moths with dusty wings. Came to kill the champ, they ain't even nobody with you.
Came to kill the champ.
Kiss you, the super patriot century. Son, you move noisily, box office the gunplay. Old legend of dead horse, dirty woo vampire come. Came to kill the champ, they ain't even nobody with you. Heavy blade kiss
I feel like this verse just like
Son, you move
picks
noisily,
up
box
the
office the gunplay.
intensity
Old legend
in
of dead horse,
tempo,
dirty woo
rhyming,
vampire
and
come.
just
Against tomorrow,
feel.
we sat at separate tables with rats. the size of rhinoceros in the
It's dope,
stables.
though.
The silly old man went and hung himself. What is against tomorrow? We sat at separate tables with rats, the size of rhinoceros in the stables. The silly old man went and hung himself with a cable. They found him with his shoes on the wrong foot. A fable, the skinny little pimp had
It's just crazy. Went and hung himself with a cable. They found him with shoes on his wrong foot. It's fatal, is it?
in the stables. The silly old man went and hung himself with a cable. They found him with his shoes on the wrong foot. A fable, the skinny little pimp had cut her
A
face with a
fable.
straight razor. Girl
Probably a
from the
fable.
gutter. I murdered another. We went in the ocean and we began to argue. I left bloody and blood flooded the water.
What does that mean? Is that a true story? They went in the ocean and they began to argue? Or is it a reference to something?
A girl from the gutter. I murdered another. We went in the ocean and we began to argue. I left bloody and blood flooded the water.
It's not a true story.
Alcatraz great.
Unless it was a shark
Overachieving
attack.
leaves in the sunshine. Dirty shovels for evening. Starsky and Hutch met Cagney and Lacey. The bloody old man meat market wasn't hasty.
Starsky and Hutch met Cagney and Lacey. Yes, let's just throw an old school TV reference in there.
The rhyme was kind of pasty, great like Yogi Berra. While
Yogi
Aerosol
Berra.
Man reached attention to Sahara. He had lit cigarettes for eyes.
Who had lit cigarettes for eyes? Is that a piece of art? My friend told me years ago he thought that was a piece of art. Is that a piece of art, Warcloud? I want to know.
Golden unicycles, seals playing harmonicas.
Oh, golden unicycles and seals playing harmonicas. Yes, my favourite. I mean, it absolutely is my favourite. That's like one of I don't know. It's Warcloud. He is the man, don't you know? Golden unicycle, seals playing harmonicas, and then it just starts going off on one after that.
Has pitched attention to Sahara. He had lit cigarettes for eyes. Golden unicycles, seals playing harmonicas. I laugh as I smoke on the hillside. Garden in the grass, get at me and we can still ride. I might sip a beer at Muldoon Saloon. The man who left cigar smoke throughout the room.
The man who left cigar smoke throughout the room. Dope imagery.
Stringing niggas up like the Klan, we witty black skinheads, pissing in mugs, bury who in your nigger graveyard. Your happiness is a love jewel, hell jewel, and right jewel, fight jewel, twice cruel, bite snipe you on a mic duel. Seduced by madness, I'm gathering madness in the mouth of madness, outstanding madness, candlelit madness, lucrative fugitive.
Seduced by madness and gathering madness in the mouth of madness. Was it outstanding madness, candlelit madness, lucrative fugitive? Something like that?
Seduced by madness, I'm gathering madness in the mouth of madness, outstanding madness, candlelit madness, lucrative fugitive. In your nation now nation are in cycle. Smuggling booze in the graveyard with a rifle, Michael, delightful, toss vital, collider, force, lost soldier, glitchy explosion, pitfall, Alcatraz, jigsaw, puzzle, I'll snuff you. Came to kill a champ, they ain't even nobody with you. Heavy blade kiss you, the super patriot century. Son, you move noisily, box office, the gunplay, old legend of dead horse, dirty woo, vampire call. Came to kill a champ, they ain't even nobody with you. Heavy blade kiss you, the super patriot century. Son, you move noisily, box office, the gunplay, old legend of dead horse, dirty woo, vampire kung fu. Warcloud. My raps is like zoo books in the dark with misfits, twist tank barrels in a bowl, send them for Christmas.
So yeah, there we have it. Warcloud. And I would say that this album is my favourite album of his, and it's maybe if I was to go through an album, this would be the one I'd do of his. But I'm moving on to another album he dropped with Blue Sky Black Death, I think in 2005. Blue Sky Black Death. That's Warcloud. Go to Holocaust. 2006. He'd then gone back to using the name The Holocaust, and his style had definitely changed. I'd say this album is a good album, but I don't know. I think he's pushing the boundaries of delivery more and more, and some tracks are better than others. There's some way he just does do some dope rhyming schemes in there. I loved it back in the day. I love this album. It's on reflection. I've listened through to a few tracks, but Anyway, it is dope. It's a dope album. I would listen to it. You know, it's still content wise, it's interesting. Almost every bar of his is interesting. So yeah, that's good. I've chosen to try Monarchs. So yeah.
Like a white spider in the dark, tyrant to the art. We defiant every spark, guns deadly to the heart. Stun Betty.
Dope rhyming, and this beat is dope. All of these guys' beats are dope.
Like a white spider in the dark, tyrant to the art. We defiant every spark, guns deadly to the heart. Stun Betty skull mark, one heavy ghetto chart. Stun ready Zeppo march, dogs bark, night lock, long knife machete sharp. I be hustling with the monarchs from LA
All of
parts. I be hustling with the
Did that all
monarchs from LA
all
parts.
the way through? Heart. It did, yeah. It did.
Like a white spider in the dark, tyrant to the art. We defiant every spark, guns deadly to the heart. Stun Betty skull mark, one heavy ghetto chart. Stun ready Zeppo march, dogs bark, night lock, long knife machete sharp. I be hustling with the monarchs from LA parts. I be hustling with the monarchs from LA parts. I be hustling with the monarchs from LA parts. I be hustling with the monarch. Battle Lord, the savage sword of the tyrant from Alcatraz, still known as Soldier Blood Holocaust. Avalanche, advance, and
Yeah, all of that's really dope. That kicking was dope. The rhymes were dope. Dope.
monarchs from LA parts. I be hustling
Too
with
much
the
to keep up
monarchs
with.
from LA parts. I be hustling with the monarch. Battle Lord, the savage sword of the tyrant from Alcatraz, still known as Soldier Blood Holocaust. Avalanche, advance, enhance, previous violent lesson. Weapon crash, laughing comedians, discretion, battle scan. With lantern hand, my ram, psychiatric evaluations grant. The emergency evacuations plan, the sky above, sworn invisible. You've been warned, bloodstorm criminal. I was born invincible. I be hustling with the monarchs.
He was born invincible. I do kind of believe that, even though he has passed away, but I still believe it.
I'm always watching you like the forest at war, kick you through the door like Chuck Norris, who was a good friend of Bruce Lee. Now you see the truth.
Yeah, just in case you don't know, there's this guy, Chuck Norris. Oh, you don't know? Right. So Bruce Lee is a famous guy, and he was a good friend. I like how he says it, like, yeah, just in case, you know.
Watching you like the forest at war, kick you through the door like Chuck Norris, who was a good friend of Bruce Lee. Now you see the truth of me as I run and jump, kick a firing squad at the end of the movie. Puzzle your muscles, lift your body against gravity. Not all truths to become. You fall into a jungle, large earth structure cavity, and as you bleed, our earthquake swallowed up a casualty of a seismic tragedy. Today, once again, I.
So as you'll know, is there's always multi-syllable rhymes. Well, not always. Sometimes he doesn't rhyme at all, but he has enough consistent multi-syllable rhymes to have mastered the multi-syllable game. It's just his delivery of them is, you know, different.
I say, have you come to battle me? A eulogy, that'll be. No, a thought starts off small but grows large like tuna. They're in a large icy school in the cold Atlantic Sea. Cheating death is nothing new. My rhyme is proven clinically. A migraine is a headache it relieves. I remember a gypsy in the Philippines who danced with the centipede. From listening to me.
He remembers a gypsy in the Philippines who danced with a centipede.
I remember a gypsy in the Philippines who danced with the centipede.
See?
From listening to me, soon we'll be able to survive heat, radiation, and low temperatures extreme. The rise and the fall of the T-Rex on the.
Oh, that's cool. So if you listen to Warcloud enough, you'll be able to survive extreme temperatures. Cool.
Heat, radiation, and low temperatures extreme. The rise and the fall of the T-Rex on the track. Outside, I enter the blood sports center at winter. Just one of you try to intervene. I be hustling with the monarchs from LA parts. I be hustling with the monarchs.
The press use
Nothing but amazing imagery. This is one of the best tracks on the album.
I be hustling with the monarchs from LA parts. I be hustling with the monarchs from LA parts. I be hustling with the monarchs from LA parts. I be hustling with the monarchs from LA parts. Holocaust.
this album's a really good album. Blue Sky Black Death, they produced for a few other people in that space. They were a bit like Snow Goons at the time, but with I think they were just producers. But yeah, there it is. Blue Sky Black Death present The Holocaust, Monarchs. It's his album as well. He's on every single track. Right. So let me have a look at his biography. The Holocaust is a former member of the Black Knights who had a relatively conventional style in his early days with the group as the Holocaust, but after his departure, when he abandoned the potentially offensive name and became Warcloud, he drastically changed his style to a more avant-garde, Ghostface Killer-esque free association verse. He referred to this new style as Old Jail Pajama Room, of course, as opposed to his old style, which is Mixed Forest Zone. I suppose the fact that he's naming his style so lets you know that he, well, I suppose this is in retrospect, that he's a bit of a personality. Right, so together with his cousins Onslaught and Leviathan and Scarecrow and Mantra, are they all his cousins? They formed the Monster Mob, an underground Wu-affiliated hip-hop crew. I think Black Knights were Wu-affiliated as well, I think. Pretty sure they were. The Monster Mob released the album The Nightmare Before Xmas in 2003, but Warcloud did not appear on this album, which left the fans with the question whether Warcloud is or isn't a member of the Monster Mob. Those questions got answered by an interview. The Monster Mob, who informed the fans that Warcloud will always be a member. Warcloud did, however, appear on an early Monster Mob work called Operation Takeover, which leaked all over the internet and never got an official release till 2006. Warcloud appears on 2 tracks, Blue Apples and Creepin', where technically we can hear the first real Old Pajama Room style, because the album was created during a period between 98 and 99. Oh, interesting. I don't think I'm familiar with those 2 tracks. It's in 2000, so it's not going to mention being on the RZA's album. In 2000, he appeared on the follow-up project of The Swarm titled The Sting. That was like a Wu affiliate album. The songs Tank performed. Oh, Tank. The article's just called him Tank. What, without even explaining his alias Frank the Robot Tank? Okay, fair enough. I don't mind. Performed were Blunts, Martinis, Girls and Guns, and Woodchuck. Cool. In 2002, Warcloud's first 2 albums suddenly got sold over the internet, which immediately. Should I be reading this article? Anyway, left the fans wanting more of Warcloud. These 2 albums, Nightmares That Surface from Shallow Sleep and Smuggling Booze in the Graveyard, eventually had a re-release in 2006 with cover art on chamber music, including a bonus track on each album. In between this period, Warcloud kept himself busy working alongside his partner, The Professional, and appeared on 2 of his albums. Prose Laboratory was the first one, which had its release over the internet in 2003. The album's earned itself a very good name in deep underground hip-hop, okay, deep, which was loaded with dark, raw beats by The Professional and Scarecrow, and guest appearances by Vulgar, Leviathan, Onslaught, Bootface, and of course Warcloud. In 2005, The Professional released his short album Hip Hop Endurance, where we could hear Warcloud rhyme in the Alcatraz style. Explain what that is, come on. In 2004, Warcloud appeared on Vulgar's album Hammer Pattern, another great raw. I've got to go to the end. I've got to do it now. Another great raw underground hip hop release with Pro and Scarecrow Productions. Since 2004, a fan base forum was created dedicated to Warcloud by Cypherborn, aka Skellington, Holy Ghost, and Intellectual. The forum started a MySpace page dedicated to Warcloud. Wow, is that still going? Soon the forum turned into the official home for the die-hard Warcloud fans. During 2005, Warcloud resurfaced from a hiatus to work on an album tentatively titled Hole in the Sky in 2012. What? In the persona of Holocaust under the alias Alcatraz, he made an appearance on the Professionals album Hip Hop Endurance as on Contribution X's Gun. In 2005, Tank, they mean Warcloud, teamed up with a production team entitled Blue Sky Black Death for his first solo release entitled, well, you know what it's titled, Blue Sky Black Death Presents the Holocaust. Following this, Tank moved to Boston, Massachusetts for a time where he worked with Boston natives on a new album called War Ghost. After production of War Ghost, Bombshot was incarcerated, putting the project on hold until his release. At present, Tank Going has many, if to from, oh wow, they saved the worst sentence to last, along with projects, along with these myriad of countless collaborations with major and underground indie artists. Tank, the drugstore cowboy, is currently focused, evolving poetically, and in the release of his new project, Tank the Drugstore Cowboy, if any is one the world's every scholastic. What? I'm actually speechless to have left that till the end. His new release is untitled. Birth name Anthony Creston Brown, also known as Holocaust Architect, Dr. Kilgrave, Mr. Appleby, Alcatraz, Warcloud, Trembling Eagle, Tony Holocaustal, Frank Holocaustal, and, of course, Robot Tank. Frank the Robot Tank. Right, there we go. We've got it. His full list of names. So, yeah, we'll leave it there. Brilliant. Anyway, yeah, we are going to leave it there, but Warcloud is a legend. I listened to him for years, just quite obsessively, just before Google was Google, because I can imagine if Google was used in the same way it was when I was banging Warcloud every day, I just would have searched every single line. Maybe he's on what's it called, the Genius, that Genius page. So yeah, it feels like cheating though. I'd like to just search things. So yeah, Warcloud, get into him. It's probably best getting into him via some of the earlier stuff and then gradually getting used to his evolving styles. It's a shame that we've lost him. I always wanted him to come back, but yeah, there is a new album which I haven't checked yet, but I will check and probably chat about. There are other albums as well, other than those 3 that I've covered. So, yeah. Right. Peace out.